What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, enjoy the clip, no notes.
It's pretty obvious Joe Flacco is going to be that starter, right? No, so I mean, we're looking at Jalen Hurts, but I guess the real question becomes is like, how many do you think will actually carry? Do you think we'll go with 2? Do you think we'll go with 3?
I think we're going to stick with 3. Obviously, Jalen's going to be the starter, like you said. Sorry, Joe Flacco, my bad. No, I'm just kidding. But obviously Jalen's going to be the starter. They're giving him the year at least. Flacco didn't come here to be the backup, but he's going to be the backup, and he's going to be that mentor that Hurts needs, obviously. So I think those 2 are obviously locks. Third spot, I guess it just depends on how they want to configure the rest of the roster, and they'll make a decision. Is it worth keeping Jamie Newman? Is it not worth it? I think at the end of the day, I think they're going to decide it's worth it because I think he should have been like a 4th, 5th round pick, in my opinion. I was shocked he fell to undrafted free agency. He's got the arm talent. He's got the build you need. He's just got to get better at the decision making, which is what you have in a third string quarterback, a developmental guy who you got to get better in some of those areas in terms of progressions and all that mechanics a little bit too. So I think he's a guy you definitely want to keep around. Maybe they'll probably have him inactive on most game days, I would guess, but worst comes to worst, you keep on the practice squad. I think he's a little better than the practice squad guy, so I'd keep him around as a third string. How about you?
Yeah, Joe? And the practice squad scares me in the sense that like you said, you can lose him. You're like, it's not a guarantee that he's going to be on that practice squad. Now we can do something like we did with Paul Turner, give him a expensive ass, contract for a practice squad player. I think he was making like $1 million on the practice squad one year for some reason. Never saw the field, but hey, God bless him. He made that back. But we could do something like that with him. But like you said, it's not a guarantee that he'll stick to that practice squad. So I do think that we would probably go with 3 quarterbacks just in case. And I do feel like if something, God forbid, is to happen to Jamie Hurts, to Jalen Hurts, Jamie Newman's game play and game style probably fits more of what you'll be doing anyways with a Jalen Hurts. So it might make more sense in that aspect. So I think that's pretty easy. I think we will say, I mean, maybe it's not that easy. Do you think that, Jamie Newman has a chance of beating out Joe Flacco and just becoming the backup? Do you think that's possible this year?
I don't think they'll let it happen. I think it is possible just because I've heard a lot of the Jacoby Brissett comparisons. Obviously, Sirianni coached Brissett for a little bit. He'll have an idea of how to coach Jamie Newman and his strengths. But with how much they pay Joe Flacco, I think they're just going to say you're the backup. Even if he has a bad preseason or whatever. If he has a bad preseason, like a horrendous preseason, I'd rather just cut him and then you make Jamie Newman the backup. But I think he's at a point in his career where he's not really at a point where he's like ready to retire yet. But he's still at a point where he can still produce if called upon, maybe not at a high level, but I don't think he's going to lose that second spot because I think he really has the mindset that he's going to try to beat out Jalen Hurts too and push him. I think in the back of his mind, he knows he's the backup, but yeah, I don't think Jamie Newman has a shot just with virtual offseason for the most part. It seems like that's going to be this year, and being a rookie, I wouldn't give him much of a shot, but maybe down the road he can be the second string though.
Yeah, and I hope there's no more QB controversy. I'm hoping it's just Joe Flacco knows his role and he moves on. Yeah. So let's move on to something that's probably not as concrete, especially with the latest signing. We'll look at the running back room. Now we got Kerryon Johnson. We got, Kenneth Gainwell, who we drafted. Obviously, we have Miles Sanders. We have, Boston Scott. I think Corey Clement is still signed. Like we have a lot of running backs. So we went from a quarterback factory to a running back factory. So who do you think on this? How do you think this is going to shake up at the end of the day?
Yeah, great question. I think, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this after I go too, because I think this is definitely a very interesting position now with Kerryon Johnson being signed. So Miles, obviously, he's going to be the lead back, the main guy. Even though we have a couple other guys in there, I still think he's going to get the majority of the carries, and it's not going to be like last year where he was getting 10 carries a game at times. Let's hope not. But I think he's going to take another big jump in year 3, and I feel like there were some areas he kind of declined in year 2, but overall he was still so amazing. I mean, if that's him declining a little bit in some areas, my gosh, he's a phenomenal running back. So I think he's the guy. Kenneth Gainwell, the more I watch on him, the more I just fall in love with him. And I was a big fan of him before the draft too, just because he had the Memphis running back tag. I mean, obviously, if you got Tony Pollard, Antonio Gibson, and Darrell Henderson, like they've been churning out running backs. This is a guy who can do everything you need him to do. He's kind of like Nyheim Hines. I think that Sirianni is going to use him that way, and that he can be used on screen passes, jet sweeps. He's a good runner. He's a good pass protector too if you need him in there. I think he's going to be the second back for sure. I'm really confident in that. Kerryon, I think he's going to kind of fill the Corey Clement role, like getting some carries here and there, but also being a world better at pass protection than Corey Clement was. My gosh, Corey Clement was embarrassing in pass protection last year. So I think Kerryon's going to kind of fill that role. After that, I think they'll probably keep 1 to maybe 2 more. That's a little bit much, but it will probably come down to Boston Scott and Jason Huntley. And Huntley's the younger guy. Scott is more experienced for sure. I'd probably rather give Huntley a shot just because we don't really know much about him. We don't know what he is yet versus Boston Scott. We do kind of know what he is. At the same time, you can make the case, well, we know what Boston Scott is. Let's play it safe. Let's keep him in here because we know we have a solid backup in case anyone goes down. So that's kind of where I'm at with the running back position. I'm feeling really good about it with the Kerryon Johnson signing. I think he's going to get more carries than Clement did last year, just because I think they're going to kind of go hot hand. But I also want to ask, before you go, I want to ask you this too. I saw someone tweet out, this is better than the 2017 running back room with LeGarrette, Ajayi, and Clement. I don't know about that. I think that's a little bit of a stretch when we haven't seen them all play together yet, and Kenneth Gainwell hasn't played a snap. But hey, Corey Clement hadn't played a snap either, and I don't know. LeGarrette was kind of on the tail end of his career, so we'll see. I want to hear your thoughts on that too.
I feel like health is everything, and I hate to keep on nailing that keep beating that dead horse, but I feel like we put ourselves in that position every time we sign somebody. So
yeah,
excuse me. So I think that if my man's Kerryon Johnson, if Kerryon Johnson can stay healthy, that would be it'll be very interesting. Like it could be a very good running back room because he, in my opinion, could be a number one guy. He's just kind of been hampered by injury. So, and that boy can hit a boom. Like I feel like at worst, like the floor for somebody like Kerryon Johnson in our offense can probably be somebody like a Corey Clement. Like at worst, I feel like he's going to be bumping up the middle and knocking people over and catching passes out the backfield. Yeah. Like that's probably the at worst that we can get out of him. So can it be compared to that? Possibly, if we're gonna run them like that, you know what I'm saying. We ran a lot that year as well. So if we're gonna use them in the right way, then definitely I could see that comparison. And arguably you could say that you have a better coach. But I want to ask you while I have you on here, do you think that this offense, like, because what Howie was saying in that interview and everything with the whole, we want to beat that timetable of 2 years. Do you think this team is in any way, shape, or form ready to do that? Like, do you think, even if it's, making a couple trades with some of the guys we have, do you think we have the assets and the willingness to actually do that?
I don't know if we're there yet. Like, I feel like the offensive side of the ball, I really feel confident in it. And I know that we haven't seen it play out yet. It'll take a little bit of time to get rolling, but I do think the offensive side of the ball has the potential to be lethal. Now, we have a lot of young guys on this offense that we're excited about, but at the end of the day, with a lot of them, especially the wide receiver position, we have no idea what they're going to be. And who knows if Ertz isn't here, what is our tight end situation behind Dallas Goedert too? So we still have a lot of answers. Offensive line is pretty much just staying healthy. That's the answer we need from them too, which is not. I'm not going to put my money in the bank on them staying healthy this year after last year. But talking about the whole team overall too, while I liked how the philosophy we went in with the draft and we picked a lot of the best players available, we have no cornerbacks right now. We're literally about to put Zach McPherson. We're throwing him into the fire. Probably he's probably going to have to start. It's either him, Craig James, or Michael Jacquet right now, because Maddox is, and not to mention Maddox is still here, and he's going to have to man down one spot. And I think he's more of a slot or a free safety, but. I know we're talking about the offense here, but in terms of defense, I mean, we still that second level, we've got a lot of holes back there. So I don't think we're ready quite yet, but if next year's draft goes well, I think we're ready to fly. And I do think we have the potential to surprise some people this year just because it's a new scheme with the offense and defense, people aren't going to know what to expect, and it's going to take time for them to get film on us. So I do think we have a little bit of advantage there. What do you think, man?
I in my video, I kind of said, like, I think we can be good if we do some crazy stuff. Like if we go out there and say, all right, throw caution to the wind, we're gonna go get Stephen Gilmore, we're gonna go throw some picks and go get Julio. Like if that's his mindset, that he's just like, F it, I want to win right now, we can. One thing, I'll be like, okay, like, all right, let's see what happens. And two, I'll kind of be like, why did you fire Doug then? Because that wasn't that kind of his, like, so I don't know. I don't believe that he really feels that way. I don't feel like he really thinks let's do it in 1 year. Because he said before that he didn't think that it would be a 1 year process. He said before that, he thought that him and Doug had different views of what this offense can be or what this team can be. So I don't really believe what he's saying, but we could. I mean, who knows? We have a lot of assets. So if he really just says F it and goes all in, who knows? We would be screwed with, and that's the thing though. He doesn't care about cap space either. So it's like we'd be screwed with cap space next year again if he went crazy. But he can do it, and he's shown the capacity to do it. So I mean, so it is what it is. I hope he kind of doesn't. I kind of hope we just stay young and build.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And then just add once we're there. But